Alright guys, Richard here. Today I have kind of a short and sweet video for you. Well, I don't know how sweet it is, but it's about this crazy 9-string bass that I am just kind of super interested in. I just want to go over all the neat things I've found out about it just by exploring the parts. Because this thing has some issues, and it's very strange. Like, for instance, starting with the neck, down here at the 24th fret. Remember, this is a 9-string bass. Down here at the 24th fret, it's only 3.5 inches wide. And I know what you're thinking. That is huge for a, guitar neck or a regular bass neck, but this thing has 9 strings. For comparison, my Ibanez BTB 6-string bass is down here at the 24th fret, a little bit over 3.25 inches wide. So what that means is these strings are very close together. And if you look at this bridge, you can see how exactly close they are, which is crazy because this is a 34-inch scale instrument. It's a bass. It's not a guitar. So that's just wild. And this whole bridge looks hand carved. There is a hole right here through the bridge that corresponds to a hole right here in the body. I don't know why. I guess they screwed the bridge in place at one point for some reason. So here's the thing. I can't find anything about this bass anywhere online, even in AliExpress, which is where I suspect this thing came from. I'm thinking it's some kind of factory reject or something along those lines, and here's part of the reason I say that. Going back up here to the headstock, again, those who saw the other video will understand this was already sanded off. Look at the placement of this truss cover. Is your OCD going off? Right here, there you can actually see part of the hole for the truss rods. Like just barely right there. So the truss cover doesn't even cover the truss rods cavity, and it's completely and utterly and ridiculously off center. It just makes no sense to me. If you look closely at the nut under the shadow there, sorry about that, you can see it's chipped at the bottom. And that chip is something we'll have to address because I'm not going to build another nut for this thing. So I think I'm going to try to build up the wall of this one. It's probably plastic anyway. So the truss rod access, you can see that the truss rods are not evenly spaced either. See how much of more of a distance there is from here to here and from here to here. It's so weird. And the truss rod cover they put on it doesn't even cover the access. It's crazy. Not to mention the fact that these are all in fact guitar tuners, which we did cover in the last video. But this neck, aside from being a crazy boat oar that it is really not thick enough to be a bass neck for a 9-string bass. It's literally a 6-string bass neck almost, maybe a little bit thicker than a 6-string. If you ever look at a Conklin 7-string, those necks are wider than this. If you look at a Conklin 9-string, God forbid, the necks are massive and they're rare. So the soap bars, I've taken them out. Nothing on the back, nothing under there, nothing in here, nothing on the bottom of the neck. There are no identifying markers anywhere on this instrument. The ferrules, and this is so disappointing, the ferrules are plastic. So they're every single one of them is cracked or broken. And some of them in several places. All of them plastic. This is something interesting. While it looks like this was machined out, you can see where it was chiseled with a kind of a dull chisel right there at the bottom. And you can kind of see the telltale compression of the wood all around there where somebody has chiseled in there. Don't know if that was a owner of the bass or if that happened at the factory. For some reason, this one particular hole is really wide, and the screw that went through this particular hole was about 3/8 longer than all the other screws in the neck. I don't know why. The input jack is probably the ugliest ending to a barrel jack I've ever seen. Alright. Take these off real quick. These are the plastics that, if you saw the other video, you realize they don't fit. They're not recessed. This route is not even. Obviously, I've taken the strings out so you can see how god-awful that is in there. And you remember there was a wire crossing all the strings being used as a ground. It went through the eye holes of the strings. And I suspect it was also helping to keep them from going through. But this piece of crap wire was the only thing that was grounding it. And the wire was actually broken right here. So the only ground was that bottom string, the highest pitch string. So if you weren't touching that string, there was an audible buzz. I will say this, I plugged it in, very, very, very low output, surprisingly low output. I feel like something's leaking to ground somewhere, but I think I'm just going to replace the electronics with an active preamp in this guy. Okay, here's the control cavity. Nothing remarkable in here at all. Just your standard volume and tone pots, 2 tone pots, 1 volume pot. And it's actually loose. That's interesting. Really just kind of a badly thought out control cavity too, because here you have your input jack or output jack coming straight through your tiny crappy little potentiometers, and there's still sawdust and stuff all around all the holes. I did mention this route wasn't even, but you can see, have a good look at just how off that is. It's so weird. So yeah, I haven't been able to find another bass like this online. If anybody has any information, please let me know. I'm totally interested in finding out more about it. This is definitely one of the craziest instruments that's ever come through my shop. Again, Nick Byrnes, thank you for donating this to the cause, to the videos, to Forsyth. I appreciate it. All my supporters, thanks a lot, guys, and everybody I've seen subscribe lately. I really, really appreciate it. So comment, tell me what you think about this thing, and let me know your ideas. I want to know where you guys think this was made. Do you think it was some practice project? You know, I'd say it's home built, but this finish reminds me of a lot of the Chinese type of instruments I've seen. This body's also really small. You know, it's small and light for a 9-string bass. But let me know what you think. You know, what are your ideas about it? What would you do to it? You know, I plan on trying to make it playable. We'll see about that. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I hope you're as interested in this thing as I am, and hopefully it'll go somewhere pretty cool. I'll see everybody next time. Talk to you later.